Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. I know it's a crazy time. It's been about a month since we've seen each other and we've all had to kind of stay put, so I know it's been kind of hard, especially for us. I hope that you're all doing well during this time. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. So yes, you want to focus on school, but make sure you're also doing things for yourself that you enjoy. So we are on week 3 now. I did get the 4.2 SR done from several of you. This one was maybe a little bit harder, but definitely try it. So even if you didn't finish it last week, you can still do it now and just let me know and I'll enter it in. We are going to move on to 4.3, and the good news is I think it's a little bit easier. And I gave you a few on the practice here that are very, very, very similar, almost identical to what you'll see on the SR. And the SR is only 6 questions and there's no proofs, which is kind of nice for everyone. So if you haven't already watched the video, I would recommend watching the video on PV Online to help you out. I went through and took down the notes from the video. So you don't have to write them yourself if you don't want to. You're welcome to if that's how you learn best. But here are the notes that go along with the video. My work is filled out in blue, and then I did look up some images from Google to kind of copy and paste in that matched what she was talking about in the video. So in 4.3, we're talking about angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. So we have ASA and AAS. So again, hopefully you already looked at the video. If you haven't, I would go back and watch it now. She does go over these 4 examples with you, which is good because this will be on your SR a little bit. So you have to determine if these triangles are congruent, which means they're going to have the same measurements based on the postulates that we know. So far we know ASA, I'll just go in order here. We know SAS for side, angle, side. We know SSS, which is side, side, side. We know AAS, which is, angle, angle, side. And we know ASA, which is angle, side, angle. So notice again, we do not have angle, side, side. So I will just tell you, we are not ever going to spell one out that spells out that word, ASS. So you should know that if you do get that in your triangles, you know we don't want to have that. We don't want to have that word, ASS, so we know that's not going to be congruent, okay? She doesn't ever really say that in the video, but I think that it's helpful to know. So we want to go through and see, are these congruent? And if so, what is the postulate that we use? So for this one, again, congruent, we know they're congruent if they have the same marker. So see how C here, because it has that little, almost like a curve, that means that it's an angle. So we know that this has a little curve with one line. Z also has a little curve with one line. So we know that Z and C are congruent. They're the same. So that's one angle. And then we have an angle down here that has a little curve with 2 marks. We have an angle here that has a little curve with 2 marks. So we know that X and A, those angles are congruent. So we know we have angle, angle, and they are in a row. They're next to each other. And then we have a side. So it is a side that comes after the angle, angle, and it's the same one here. So we have angle, angle, side. Angle, angle, side. So for A, it's going to be yes, and it was because of the angle, angle, side. Over here, this is a review from last time. This one isn't going to be on your SR, but it is just good to review. So it is going to be side, side, side. So we do have a side here and a side here. We do have an angle here, but if we have side, oh, actually this one could be both. It could be side, 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 and it could be side, angle, side. So it could be side, angle, side, side, angle, side. And then what she talks about in the video is that because they share this line here, they also share that side. So it could also be SSS, which is I think what she says in the video, but we also know that it could be side, angle, side. So that one could actually be both. This one here, it's not going to be congruent because like I said, we have an angle here and then we have side, side. So if we spell that out, we don't want to get what that spells out. So it's not going to be angle side side. That is not one that we have. So the answer to that one is no. And then this one is a little bit harder. We definitely do have the two angles, the two sides, here and here, here and here. And then we do have to remember, and she does say it kind of corny in the video, like she does sometimes, but we know that these two angles are congruent right here because they're vertical angles. So that's where she does her kind of cross with her arms and says vertical angles. So we know that vertical angles are congruent from a long time ago. So we have side, angle, side. Okay. So the practice that I did for you guys, she does have an example of a proof. Like I said, I don't believe that is on the SR. I could be wrong. But go ahead and make sure you look at this, follow along. We have, and I just realized I messed this up. This is supposed to be here. Apologize, I will fix that. So it's similar to the one that we had in the last video because we do have that reflexive property, which means that it's equal to the same thing. DF is congruent to DF. When we do proofs, I know that a lot of you guys don't like them very much, which I understand. So one hint that I always tell you guys is what you're trying to prove. So right here it says prove that triangle EFD is congruent to triangle GDF. That will always, always, always be your very last statement, okay? And then the reason for your statement is usually going to be one of the postulates that we know, okay? So you can kind of do like process of elimination that way. You're going to start off with what they give you. So that's usually what is given here. You're going to end with what you're trying to prove. And then you kind of have to just figure out what step they're going to take in the middle and what go along with that. Like I said, I don't think there are any of these on the SR. I apologize if I'm wrong. I was just looking at it yesterday, but for some reason I can't remember right now. If you do come across a proof while you're taking the SR, feel free to reach out and email me if you have any questions. I check my email constantly, except when I'm sleeping. So if you send me an email while you're taking the SR, I will pop on and check it. And if you have any questions, I can answer them before you submit it, okay? So I would definitely recommend that if you take it 2 times, and if you're taking it on your second time and you have questions, please, please, please reach out and ask me questions. Okay, I'm gonna stop this video here and I'm gonna start a new one going over the practice, okay? So I will go ahead and stop that and start a new one in just a second.